Awesome. Hey folks, so today we have Ravjot here with us. And I can say so many things about Ravjot. She's an incredible student, but I wanted to actually let Ravjot introduce herself. So Ravjot, do you want to maybe let the group know, where you're from, um, what it is, what you've accomplished in terms of, university success, funding success, and working with Admission Prep, and just quickly introduce yourself.
Sure. So, hi, I'm Ravjot, and I'm from Surrey, BC. I've been a student with Admission Prep for the past 3 years, and because of the help that I've gotten from them, I have been able to get into all the seven universities that I applied to, which include UBC, University of Toronto, Waterloo, Queen's University, McGill, and a lot of other wonderful universities. And I've also been able to secure about 200,000 in scholarship money. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Wow. Does it feel a little surreal when you get to say like $200,000 in scholarships and all those schools?
It definitely does. I still can't get used to it.
Wow. I mean, honestly, it's surreal hearing from me as well. That's kind of like what we're here, but you're such a deserving student to get this type of success. And you've gotten into all these prestigious schools and all these prestigious programs. And do you want to maybe tell actually what program are you wanting to study and are you going to be studying at?
Sure. So I'm going to be heading to Queen's University this fall, which is next month, to study at their Smith School of Business. So I'm going to be going into the
Nice.
commerce program. Yeah,
Queen's Commerce. That is very,
Queen's
very
Commerce,
competitive.
yes.
How does it feel to get in?
It felt really good actually because I never knew that I could get into all these programs. And that is the reason why I applied to so many universities because I wasn't even sure if I was going to get into like any of these top programs. So
Right.
it feels really nice to know that I'm going to this program that I've always wanted to go into.
Yeah, I bet. And it's also one of the most competitive in the whole country. So getting in is a big deal. Now, you just got into Queen's Commerce. What was something that you didn't even, when you first started applying to universities, what was something you didn't even think was possible?
Definitely, I think I won at least one scholarship from every school that I got into. So
Wow.
that is something that surprised me because I thought maybe I could win like one or two scholarships, but then getting something from every school was really, um, it really showed how much my hard work has paid off over the years.
Yeah, totally. Like I bet, like you got a scholarship from every school you applied to. Not many students can say that. And then, from when you started off, like, what were your initial aspirations and dreams about post-secondary education? And how did they compare to like where you find yourself today?
Sure. So when I started off, actually, because I live in BC, my main target school was UBC, to go to UBC
Yeah,
because that is that is considered the top university in British Columbia. And so my main goal was to get into Sauder School. And I did not know how I would do that, and if winning a scholarship would also be possible for me.
yeah,
But I think admission prep has really helped in the sense that you get to see so many other students who've already accomplished what you have before. And that really gives you a morale boost and tells you that you can do it as well. So having
right.
that support around me really helped.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, you went from just thinking the BC school was possible to now going all
Mhm.
the way out to Ontario as well. And
Yes,
I'm
definitely.
glad you identified UBC as the top school in BC because I went to UBC Sauder, so I'm a little biased, but it's glad to hear I'm not the only one thinking about that. And then, the transition for a lot of students from everyday high school work to the world of, university applications and scholarship applications, is like a little abrupt and shocking sometimes. Like, what was your biggest fear about, going into this world of essays and scholarship prizes and universities?
So I think one of my biggest fears was having a writer's block like a few
Mm,
weeks before the deadline because I know that there's so many applications out there, so many scholarships that you can apply to, but knowing how to approach them in the right way and manage your time effectively is really important, especially because you're going into your grade 12 year. So you have all these
yeah,
other things as well, along with maintaining your grades. And so that was one of my biggest fears, time management and knowing how to
right.
approach these applications at the beginning.
Yeah. And so time management and knowing how to approach those applications, it is challenging. And then were you able to tackle that with admission prep support?
Yes, I think I was because we have a database of all the scholarships that you can apply to and the schools you can apply to as well. So I think having that all organized in one place really helped.
Right. Awesome. And then what was the most in the beginning? What did you find the most challenging about the scholarship process?
I think most of them had these, every scholarship that I applied to had different questions. And so
Mm,
writing like a different essay for all of them at the beginning was challenging, but I felt
yeah.
that as I went on and as I got the essays compiled into a list, then I could just like, pick parts from different ones and kind
Yeah.
of meld them together for future applications.
Right. Oh, gotcha. Sounds like that. And then would you say that was your biggest roadblock, or what was the biggest roadblock you encountered when it came to universities as well?
So I think not knowing what the admissions officers look for in the applications,
Mm,
because there's so many different ways that you can present your experiences, sorry.
yeah.
And I guess not knowing how to present them specifically that would give you an edge above other applicants was kind of an obstacle for me. But I think that was something I was able to overcome with the help of my mentors as well as admission prep as well.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes complete sense. Knowing, what is it that these competitive programs are looking for, and how do I
Mhm.
be the type of student that not only can do all the things you said, manage my time and actually get all the applications in on time, but also stand out, right? Because you
Yes,
can't
yeah.
just get it
Mhm.
in on time. You have to do the organization of being a great student and managing your time, and you also have to be fantastic and build the right
Mhm.
profile, right? And then, when it actually, when we go to admission prep, like how did you discover admission prep and what made it stand out to you as like a way to help you with universities and scholarships?
So I think I discovered it back when I was in grade 9 or transitioning to grade 10.
Yeah,
And it was actually from a family friend because my father knows someone whose son was also using this platform. And he achieved a lot of success. So I think that was something that prompted me to look into this in the first place. Um,
right.
yeah, so having that real life example was a big factor.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, it helps so much when you know somebody who knows somebody to do
Mhm.
that. And then like when you actually found admission prep, what type of impact did you expect it to have on your application process?
I thought that it would teach me a little bit about, because my main obstacle was writing essays in the correct manner. So that was
Yeah,
what I was looking to get out of admission prep, and that's what I expected. But at the
yeah,
end, it really gave me a lot more than that. So there was a lot of guidance from mentors that I received, which I was not looking for in the beginning, but that was a huge factor that helped me in the applications process. And also the workshops they gave,
mm,
getting to speak with students and listening to all these tips that they applied when that they use, sorry, when applying to universities. That was also another benefit.
yeah. It sounds like you really enjoyed the student community side of it a lot.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. And then, I want to go back to, you're in grade 9, 10. You have all these big goals. Your parents are like, they're learning about university and scholarships.
Mhm.
Like, how did you feel knowing you had this long road ahead of you?
I definitely felt overwhelmed at a lot of times because I think my parents placed a lot of emphasis on that, winning scholarships, getting into these top programs. But as a student, I'm not sure that I didn't know much about the process. And so having that pressure from two sides, like not knowing about the process as well as having your parents tell you to get these things, it can be overwhelming at times. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, you bet. And now, and I guess how do you feel now? Now that you've gone through it, you've done the work.
Um, I tell all my friends it's kind of like a war zone. Like once you go into grade 12 and you face all, not in a bad way, because it shapes you and it teaches you how to manage a lot of things at once, which is also important for university.
Yeah.
But I know that once you go into this experience, you won't come out the same because it teaches you so much stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, we always say with admission prep, you might initially think, oh, we're just here to get into a good university and maybe win some funding along the way. But, um, out the biggest learnings, as you just said, actually comes from the person you develop into, the skills you learn,
Mhm.
and like how
Yes.
confident you get. Because, like, do you feel more confident now that you've kind of managed your stress and going through all those things heading into Queen's Commerce, or
Definitely, I feel a lot more confident because these were things that I did not even think were possible for me in the first place. So
Yeah.
having done that and a lot more, it's really a huge confidence boost.
Yeah, and we're always trying to share with students is that like that self-confidence and that ability to believe in yourself is almost worth more almost than like getting into even like your top program because now
Mhm.
you can go there and crush it, right? Because you know how capable
Yes,
you are, and I and
definitely.
we and we know you well. Okay, this is great. I'm like lit up talking to you about this. This is awesome. And then I wanted to ask you, can you describe how your approach to university applications evolved after working with Admission Prep and when you joined Admission Prep?
Sure. So I think, again, at first, I did not really have a concrete approach in the first place. So the
Uh-huh.
approach that I built was with admission prep because I learned about the structures of essay writing and stuff, and all those like little things that you learn about along the way are what makes you a good applicant and a good essay writer. And so I think that having that knowledge about the basics, that was really
Right.
coming from admissions prep itself. And yeah, I'm not sure what more I can say about that.
Okay, no, that's awesome. And then is there can you recall a specific time where, either an engagement with a mentor or advice from Admission Prep, um, like either motivated you or actually inspired you to like change what you were doing, had an impact on you? Can you tell me about a time that happened?
Yes, so actually, one of my mentors described the application process to me like being a pitch competition. So you have to pitch yourself
Yeah.
to investors as to why they should invest in you and why, they should give you a position in their program. And so hearing that and really applying that to my essays really changed my approach in the long run.
Right. Wow. That's
Yes.
so good.
Mhm.
And it is like that, you have to learn how to pitch yourself in the right way. And now when it comes to, your profile, the type of student you are, the things you were involved in,
Mhm.
when you first started, did you know how to build your resume or like what you needed to do?
When I first started, I knew that I had to volunteer, as so many students know. And
Yeah.
so I was part of like one or two clubs, and that was about it. But then as I, got into this journey, I got to know that you have to do a lot more than just volunteering. You have to show leadership, take initiative in your community. And that was something that, again, admission prep mentors taught me. So that is the basis that I used to build my profile.
Okay. Yeah, that is so good. And now, what is one initiative or one thing you worked on after joining Admission Prep, in your student profile, now that you're graduating high school that you're the most proud of that you'd like to share?
I started my own business. So I started my own sustainable candle business, and I started running an annual fundraiser for the Canadian Cancer Society with a
Wow.
team of peers. So I think that's something I'm proud of. It's certainly not one of my biggest initiatives, but I think that's something I'm proud of because I started it by myself. Yeah.
Okay. And what is your what can you do you wanna what's the sustainable candle business called? Just so if folks can hear about it.
It's called Flames and Fragrances. So I'm someone who's really interested in trying out new things and crafting
Yeah.
stuff. So I remember the idea of this business did not occur to me until I made a batch of 10 candles, just for
Okay.
myself, right? I was trying something new, and then I was like, what if I try to sell them in the market? Because these candles were actually sustainable, and
Yeah.
they kind of avoided the problem of buying too many paraffin wax candles, which are harmful to the environment. So
Right.
sustainability is something that I care about, and I want to take initiative in my community. So that's how it started out.
Gotcha. Okay. Wow. And why is sustainability so important to you?
So I've been part of this social justice club for a long while, and I think all issues that relate to social justice are kind of important to me because I've been working on them for so long.
Yeah.
Sustainability, particularly because I lived in Ethiopia for 2 years and we had a water problem over there. So
Yeah.
I remember we would only get like water for like 2 or 3 days a week, and that was a
Okay.
huge hurdle because we had to store water for the rest of the days in the week, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's another reason why this issue is important to me.
Wow. Well, I think that
Yes.
personal connection really amplifies things, right? When you've actually
Hmm.
been on the other side of it. Awesome. And now, I want to talk a little bit about moments where you felt you could have maybe failed, right? So
Hmm.
like, were there moments when you were going through the university application process, where you felt, hey, this might not succeed or I might not succeed? And what kept you persevering?
Certainly. So there was a major moment that I can recall. So, and this actually came from one of my mentors. So that's what made it more severe because I remember applying to this program, and my mentor was like, "You're never going to win any scholarships. You'll never get into any program." And that was coming from a mentor that I've been working with for the past like 2 or 3 months, right?
Yeah,
So that was really heartbreaking. But I think what kept me
gotcha.
going in the long run was the desire to prove him wrong, you know, to
Wow.
actually win something and be like, I can actually do it. It doesn't matter what other people say. So I think that's one of the major moments that I can recall.
Wow. And was that like a personal mentor, like in life of
That
sorts?
was one of my career center educators at school,
Yeah.
right? So yeah.
Well, I'm sorry you had to go through that, and I'm sorry you had to hear that. I
Mhm.
mean, ultimately, I'm glad you completely proved them wrong. But like, I'm sorry somebody said that to you, but that and no student should have to hear that. And
Yes,
you should
definitely.
actually be encouraged to do it because it is possible. You're living proof of it.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, and then, can you share a challenging moment in your journey where admission prep support was particularly crucial?
So I think the most challenging point is always getting started, because you never know how to get started in something that's new to you, which
Yeah,
means that because admissions and scholarship applications are new to like
yeah,
almost every student, the starting point is oftentimes the most hardest. So I think drafting those first applications was very challenging for me, especially because I did not know the right approach to take again when
right.
writing essays. So that's when admission prep support was, the most useful.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that makes
Yes.
sense. And now, now that you've gone through this tumultuous journey of, starting, not knowing, persevering, and now you're where you're at, what does this achievement of winning over $200,000, getting into these top universities, including Queen's Commerce, which is one of the most competitive programs in the country, like, what does it mean to you, now?
It means, to me, it means that I can try whatever I want, work hard, and receive the results that I'm wanting, because trying something new is always difficult when pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. So I think now I can believe in myself and my abilities to do new things and to actually achieve great results in them.
Wow. Okay. And
Yes.
now, you know, what is if I challenged you, what would be one word you would use to describe admission prep support in your journey through universities and scholarships with us?
Um, this is something I have to think about. I think critical. Critical is
Wow.
the word I would use, yes, because that's
Critical.
really the role that is has played in my own journey. So yeah, it's been really critical
Okay.
for me.
Critical. I like that. And then what would be your biggest piece of advice to somebody 3 years ago when Ravjot was younger, trying to navigate this process, and you said had that parental pressure from trying to figure it out? Like, what is the biggest piece of advice you could give to that student now, being where you are now?
I would say start early and take it step by step. So, when you think about these big things like getting into universities, winning scholarships, they seem so far away and so impossible that most of us end up procrastinating. So, I think having a step by step plan developed for
Yeah.
like the long run can really help. So, like
Okay.
having in your mind what extracurriculars you want to do, how you want to get started in essay
Yeah.
writing, and working on those things a little bit every day, it really helps. Yeah.
Gotcha. And then
Mhm.
what would you say is the biggest thing you got out of the program, working with us?
The biggest thing for me would be I really learned how to express myself and my ideas in a persuasive manner. So I think communication is one of the most critical skills in today's society, and that's something I've developed through this program. When applying to
Yeah.
scholarships and universities, because knowing how to write and express your ideas in a manner that appeals to the reader is really
Yeah.
important, and that's one of the biggest things I've gotten from this program.
Okay. Wow. Awesome. And
Yes.
you're where you are now. What is next for you in your future? Like, where are you headed? What are your career goals? What impact will we see Ravjot having? 5, 10 years down the road?
I think I want to study finance specifically, and
Yeah,
that's um, because I'm also interested in STEM. I want to do something
yeah,
related to finance and STEM, and I want to have an impact on my community by starting like a boot camp or a workshop or something for younger girls who also want to get into these fields but do not know much about them. So I think right now I'm at a stage where I'm a little confused about the specificity of the fields that I would like to go into. But as I go along and I get to explore like what my interests are and the gaps in my knowledge, I want to use this to provide resources for younger students, especially girls.
gotcha. Wow.
Yes.
Um, well, Ravjot, I'm not too worried if you're not sure exactly what to do because knowing you, you now know how to navigate those situations, right? Um,
Mhm.
and you've accomplished so much. I wanted to say congratulations to you,
Thank
to
you
all
so
your
much.
success. You're so deserving of it. I can't think of too many other students who've, worked as hard as you have or as bright as you are, and want to have such a positive impact. That's no reason the admissions committees and the scholarship committees could hear that. I feel it from you and like talking to you today. So I want to say congratulations for all your success.